there goes Laura Branigan. Self-control. It's going to be Sarah next, after the news, of course. Tomorrow, Lisa Tarbuck and Jack D. Good evening.
BBC News at 5 o'clock, this is Claire Ronicus. The Bank of England has begun urgent action to try to calm the financial markets. Opposition parties say the government's mini-budget is damaging the country and should be scrapped, and scientists are hailing a breakthrough in treating Alzheimer's. The Bank of England is making an emergency intervention to calm financial markets after last week's mini-budget sent the value of the pound and bond prices tumbling. The bank's buying government bonds, known as gilts, to prevent their falling price from threatening big investors, including pension funds. It said that if the current dysfunction continued, the UK's financial stability was at serious risk. The head of economics at Bloomberg, Stephanie Flanders, explained the bank's thinking.
The value of these government gilts, which many financial institutions, many pensions that people have, those bonds have fallen in value so far by a third this year. And they were falling so rapidly in the last few days that the institutions which are forced to hold them in order to cover these long-term liabilities, in order to be able to promise the regulator that they can pay your pension, those institutions are going to be forced to sell more and more of them to meet their obligations because they weren't worth very much. That was what the bank was worried about.
The Chancellor, Kwasi Kwarteng, has assured a meeting of US bankers that the government's committed to fiscal discipline. Nadhim Zahawi, a cabinet minister and former Chancellor, said the reassurance the markets were looking for would come in November.
The coordination between the bank and the Treasury is incredibly strong and will continue to be so. And of course, the Chancellor will come to the dispatch box in November to outline the fiscal strategy, the fiscal discipline required to be able to deliver that growth plan.
Opposition parties say Parliament should be recalled and the measures in the mini-budget reversed. The Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, said a failure to do so could risk further damage to the economy. Our political correspondent Leila Nathu says some Conservative MPs are also worried.
There is definitely a sense of anxiousness and concern about the government's policies. Words like reckless or inept or too dogmatic have been used to me today, but I don't think there is a sense that Tory MPs are about to, go into fully fledged mutiny over this just yet. Clearly, there is a sense that they do want to give the budget time to work.
Norway is beefing up security at its oil and gas operations because of concerns that damage to two major underwater pipelines owned by Russia was caused by sabotage. Nord Stream 1 and 2 are leaking gas into the Baltic Sea after what some countries say was a deliberate attack. Denmark and Sweden have launched investigations. Moscow has denied it's behind the damage, describing the suggestion as predictably stupid. A BBC Panorama investigation has exposed a culture of humiliation, verbal abuse and bullying at one of the UK's largest mental health hospitals. An undercover reporter at the Edenfield Centre filmed staff using restraint inappropriately and patients enduring long seclusions in small bare rooms. The centre near Manchester says it's taken immediate action to protect patients and it suspended a number of staff. Dr Cleo Van Velsen, who's a consultant psychiatrist, was shown the footage.
The task of the hospital is the treatment of patients to promote recovery. That's the principal task. Well, that task, I think, is being undermined by a toxic culture.
And you can watch the full programme on BBC iPlayer or on BBC One at 9 o'clock tonight. Two 17-year-old boys have been jailed for a minimum of 18 years after being found guilty of murdering a vulnerable man in Dorset. A judge at Winchester Crown Court lifted reporting restrictions to allow the naming of Jack Hindley and Samuel Jones. They attacked Edward Reeve, who was 35, at his home in Christchurch on New Year's Eve last year. scientists have declared an historic moment in the battle against Alzheimer's disease after a new drug appeared to slow the pace of mental decline. The results of the clinical trial have been announced by 2 pharmaceutical companies. Here's our health and science correspondent, James Gallagher.
Lecanemab is designed to clear the toxic proteins that build up in the brain of people with Alzheimer's disease. Nearly 1,800 people in the early stages of the disease took part in the trial, and the results showed those getting the drug had a slower loss of memory and mental agility. A drug that just slows Alzheimer's would be seen as a triumph, but this is not a cure and will not reverse any decline in memory. There were also side effects, and the full results have yet to be released. However, experts, including those at the charity Alzheimer's Research UK, said this drug appears to be a breakthrough that marks a historic moment in the battle against the disease.
In the city, the 100 share index closed up 20 points at 7,005. And the weather, rain will move south across parts of Wales and southern England. Elsewhere, a mix of cloud and the odd shower, although the northwest will remain dry. Temperatures falling tonight to 8 Celsius in London, 9 in Cardiff and 11 in Belfast and Edinburgh. BBC News, it's 5:05.
Claire, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Sarah Cox, BBC Radio 2.
And thank you very much to Mr. Steve Wright for another fantastic show. He'll be back tomorrow from 2. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome along to your Whip Smart Wednesday Tea Time Extravaganza. Settle up, cowboy, because we gotta ride this pony till sundown. Yeehaw! Sorry, we have saddlebags full of tunes that'll get the saloon a-rocking and features that'll grow your brain fit to busting out your 10-gallon. Plus you, text whether you're sitting by the campfire, carousing around the piano or busy checking your boots for Scorpions, 88291. And it's a Wednesday, there's Jukebox Jam plus first and last a half hour. Tie up your horse outside the Sarahs, plus Lime Time and Hips Do Lie. I'm excited. Dory's excited.
When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
Music play on.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, don't say it 'cause I know I'm cute. Ooh, baby. Louis down to my drawers, LV all on my shoes. Ooh, baby. I be dripping so much sauce, got a bin looking like Grey Goose. Lit up like a